Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for everyone that's joined for the Resolution Solution webinar. Very excited to be talking about this topic. I think it's very good that you've joined this time of the year to really get a head start on next year. And I'm certainly going to be sharing tools that will empower you to launch into a successful 2023. So in terms of who am I? I'm Anthony Hartcher. I'm a clinical nutritionist and lifestyle medicine specialist. In terms of my qualifications, I actually have a Bachelor of Chemical Engineering, was my original degree. And I then worked for 15 years in the corporate world for a global company, traveled the world, rose up the corporate ladder, and was still feeling unfulfilled. And I was thinking why. I started to ask the questions why. And then I realized I wasn't doing something that I'm really, truly inspired to do. And health is one of my strongest values, one of my highest values. And I enjoyed the corporate world because I was helping customers solve their problems as a chemical engineer. However, it wasn't related to health. And I thought I better go back to university and study 2 more degrees. So I did. So I went back and studied a Bachelor of Complementary Medicine, and then another degree in a Bachelor of Health Science, majoring in nutrition and dietetic medicine. However, that wasn't enough. As I started practicing as a clinical nutritionist, I realized one of the biggest areas that my clients were being held back were in the mindset, that mental side of things. And I thought, I really want to help my clients break through the mindset and really have like that really abundance and creative mindset and have that can-do attitude from within. And so then I went to the Demartini Institute and I studied another 3 courses with the Demartini Institute. And so now I'm a fully qualified trained facilitator in the Demartini Method, which I'm going to be sharing with you tonight. I'm going to be sharing part of, or probably 2 aspects from the Demartini Institute, and it is around mindset, and it's how to empower your mind. So certainly it will be very helpful in terms of knowing these tools and going into next year. So that's what you've got to look forward to. And I just wanted to make sure you're at the right webinar. So essentially the right people for this webinar, and I have a good idea that you fit this category, but I just want to make sure it's essentially for those who want success in 2023 and those that want to take action. And you wouldn't be here tonight if you didn't want to take action, because you're well ahead of next year. So I appreciate that, and it shows commitment. A lot of people are partying this time of the year, but you're really thinking about how can I improve myself next year? How can I improve what I do for my job? How can I become a better person, a better community member, a better family member, a better friend? And so you've made that decision. And so I certainly think you tick the first 2 boxes, or the first 2 points. The third point is essentially it's for people that want to empower themselves, educate themselves, willing to learn, have an open mindset. If you have an open mindset, you'll go places. And I certainly know everyone who is attending has a very open mindset. And the last one is accepting ownership. So it's not deflecting ownership and blaming. It's essentially saying the power's within me. The power to achieve success is within me, and it's up to me to go about achieving success. So if this is you, then you're certainly in the right webinar. And I look forward to taking you on a journey tonight. I'll get right into it because there's a lot of material to cover. So I don't want to talk too much about are you in the right webinar. So essentially, in terms of what the research says as to why people don't make it past January in relation to the goals they set. So you've probably heard of the New Year's resolution, and yourself may have a personal experience with the New Year resolution. And so I looked up research papers and studies as to why people essentially don't follow through with their New Year resolution. And it's these simple points here. So essentially, the goals they're setting are not aligned to their values. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a bit about values and how to determine your values in the next slide. However, that's what I realized when I got to that midlife point, and I realized, hey, I'm going up the corporate ladder. I'm succeeding in terms of corporate success, doing well, achieving my targets, getting bonus pays, all that. And I was still feeling unfulfilled. And I was thinking, why? Why is that? And essentially, I was on a trajectory that wasn't well aligned to my values. And so then I reconnected with my values, which we're going to go through. And I really want you to grab a piece of paper to determine your values. We're going to go through a useful exercise. So essentially, if the goal's not aligned to your values and there's someone else's goals, you won't do them. We're going to go through how to set those, or how to determine what your values are. The next point here is the goal is vague. It is so wishy-washy. It is not specific. It's not razor sharp in terms of being able to have that laser focus and achieve the goal. So goals need to be very specific so that we can actually attune our reticular activating system to look out for what we're seeking, essentially. And that needs specificity. Oh, man, I struggle with that word. It needs to be specific, but I was trying to say another word, but it's just not coming to me tonight. Probably a bit worn out. And the other one is, the third point here is unrealistic. And so what they've found is that people overstate what they can achieve in a year, but underestimate what they can achieve in 10 years, okay? So they're unrealistic in terms of their year goals, but essentially then they understate what they can achieve in a decade. So it's really about setting realistic goals, and we're going to talk about how to set realistic goals in this webinar. The fourth point here is essentially not having the right resources or support or the level of accountability to keep you on track, to keep you on target, essentially. Support can be in the way of finances. It can be in the way of people, expertise in a particular area. It comes in many forms. So it's having the right tools, for example. Do you have the right computer that can run the software that you need in order to achieve your goal? So again, the lack of support, lack of accountability is why people don't achieve their goals beyond January. So they start with, their New Year's resolution, but essentially that they don't continue it beyond January. So they may set a weight loss goal at the start of the year. They'll start making some effort, and then it peters out. And essentially, majority of people don't continue past January. And the last point here, which I'm going to help you a lot with tonight, is they're carrying too much emotional baggage. It's essentially limiting beliefs based on past experiences. And that is holding them back, essentially. They lack the belief that they can actually achieve their goal. And essentially, they can't see the trees amongst the forest. So they are just a bit lost in that, how do I do this? And then they start doubting themselves, and then thinking, well, I failed last time at trying to do this, and what's the point? I'm just going to fail. Okay. So essentially, they're carrying too much emotional baggage from the past that's holding them back, that's restricting their mindset from being able to have that belief in themselves. So we're going to talk about how to detach from some of that emotional baggage. Okay, so let's get into value setting. So I hope you got your pens and papers, because I'm going to ask you some questions and I want you to write down your answers. You don't have to share them with me. This is for your own benefit. So essentially, I'm going to take you through around about 10 to 12 steps of how to determine your values. And I want you to write down the top three that come to mind when I ask you the question. So essentially, you're going to write, so you're going to have question one, and then you're going to have three spaces next to it. And you're going to write down what is important to you. So first of all, I want you to work out what you spend your most of your time doing. Okay. So you might spend a lot of time working. You might spend a lot of time studying. You might spend a lot of time with family or your children. You might spend, I spend a lot of time being healthy, right? So I exercise each day. I do mindfulness. I'm preparing meals. So I spend a lot of my time preparing health for myself. And then if I'm not doing that, I'm then researching so I can share knowledge with my clients and to part knowledge through my podcasting, through my YouTube channel. So I'm always studying and sharing knowledge to empower others. And I'm always looking after myself, my own health. And my third one is my family. So that's where I spend my time. So if you don't see me running a webinar, I'll be researching or I'm helping a client. If I'm not doing that, I'm either out exercising or preparing food. And if I'm not doing that, then I'm with my family. Okay, so that's my answer to question one in terms of how do you spend your time. The next one is, what's in your immediate space? What's with you most of the time? So what are you carrying? So for women, they're carrying a handbag. What's in your handbag? What's important to you in your handbag? It may be your food. I mean, sorry, food. It may be food, but I'm thinking it's more likely going to be your wallet, your phone, and other things. It may be health things. It may be cosmetic things. So you may have your cosmetics. So therefore, your cosmetics is always close to you so that you can keep yourself looking physically beautiful. You may have your phone so you can stay connected and deepen relationships. That's why you have your phone. So what does the phone represent to you? What does the cosmetics represent to you? What does money represent to you? Okay, so, for me, I've got my phone with me and I'm in front of a computer most of the time with my microphone. So that's pretty much what surrounds me. And what I'm doing on my phone is I'm serving clients. I'm also connecting with family, and I'm researching, and I'm listening to podcasts, and I'm listening to Audible. I'm listening to audio books in terms of the health field. So that's essentially what surrounds my space. Now, I hope you're writing down what's surrounding your immediate space most of the time. It could be your dog. I know Amy hangs out a lot with Gilby. So Amy's dog's very important to her. Okay. And there's no judgment here. There's no judgment whatsoever. Everyone has a complete unique set of values, completely unique. It's like your retina. It's like your thumbprint. It's completely unique to you. There may be some overlap, some similarity with other people, but your actual blueprint of values is going to be really specific to you. So don't judge yourself. Don't think, I hang out with my dog. How boring. There's nothing boring about that. If you want to label it then it's, if you want to label it as such. However, it is what's important to you. And that's what makes you unique and special. Imagine if everyone was the same, how boring the world would be. We'd have robots just doing predictable things. The world would be extremely boring. What makes the world so interesting is the differences. It's everyone so unique and special. So just see yourself as unique and special. Absolutely you are. You have a unique genetic blueprint. You have a unique set of values. Okay, so the third one, we've done time, we've done space. Now, how do you spend your energy? Where are you spending your energy? You could probably guess where I spend my energy. I spend my energy doing this, so empowering others with their health and well-being. I spend my energy with my family, and I spend my energy on my health to ensure I stay in the best physical shape. So that's essentially how I spend my energy, not much else. So that's essentially how that's my top three. There's obviously things outside of that top three, but I only want the top three. Okay, how do you spend your energy? Now, the next one is, what is you constantly internally dialoguing about? What do you constantly got on your mind? What's on your mind? What are you thinking about all the time? And it's essentially that thing that brings you inspiration. It's not tragic events, or you feel like you're a victim or whatever. It's not that's not that thinking. It's what occupies your mind in terms of that bit of inspiration that you dream about. Okay, so what do you internally dialogue about? So I have this internal dialogue about presenting to thousands of people and sharing and empowering them in their health and well-being. And so I can picture myself doing that, and that's what's vivid in my mind. I picture myself raising children that are thriving and growing and becoming the best version of themselves. I picture my wife also growing and thriving. So my family is very important to me. I also picture internally dialogue about my health. Okay, I've got something in the chat. I'm just going to jump in the chat. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate the comment. It's beautiful. So Amy says, you'll present in front of thousands. I know it. Thank you, Amy. I really appreciate that. So yeah, please feel free to ask questions in the chat if you don't want to be recorded. So yeah, certainly enter things in the chat. I'll see it and I'll open it up. And if you don't want me to say your name, I won't say your name. I know Amy doesn't mind. In terms of, so we've covered, that internal dialogue. What's your external dialogue? So in terms of working out what you talk about a lot, so what do you, in conversation, what do you like turning the conversation to, and it lights you up and it brings you such energy and your friends can't shut you up? So it may be, you love dogs, right? And you love talking about my mum. My mum loves dogs. And so any opportunity in a conversation, if the word dog gets mentioned, mum lights up, and she is just can't stop talking about dogs. She just loves them so much. And so what lights your fire in conversation? The three areas that light your fire. So you won't be able to shut me up if you ask me about health. So I hope that doesn't scare you away from asking a question. And secondly, if you ask me about my family, I'll talk a lot about my family. And thirdly, if you ask me about my health, what I'm doing, I'll share openly what I'm doing about my health and well-being. So you can see where my top three values are in terms of that external dialogue. This is what brings me inspiration. This lights me up. I feel I could do this all night, essentially. I don't even notice time passing. So okay, we've got 5 now. We're going to go on. So the next one is your money. Where do you spend your money beyond the basics? So beyond food, rent, your discretionary money. Where do you spend it? So you may spend like I spend discretionary money on investing in my education. I spent a fortune last year, or this year, actually. This year, we're still in 2022. I spent a fortune in 2022 on education, absolute fortune. So that's where I spend my money. If I'm not spending it on my education to empower me with health, then I'm investing it, actually. I invest my money. So I want money working for me. So I don't want to have a stress about money. So I want to make sure money's constantly working for me. It's earning me money. And so I invest money into the share market, into property. So how do you spend your money? And look, I'm just sharing what I do. You may really value clothing, and because you value beauty, you value in terms of your physical appearance. That's important to you. So you spend your money on clothes, on cosmetics. That's fine. That's you. Okay. And as I said, everyone's unique and special. Okay. The next one is, where are you very disciplined? Okay, so essentially, where in your life is there complete order? So I have complete order about my diary, my work diary, my schedule with my clients. I never miss a client meeting. I never miss a webinar that I'm giving. I'm very disciplined around this. I'm very disciplined around my exercise. I never miss a day of exercise. I'm very disciplined around my eating. But I'm terribly, when it comes to social functions, I'm unorganized. I don't spend any time organizing them. And when I get invited to them, I'm typically late, okay, because they're not high on my value list. But you might be the opposite. You may love socialization. You may love hanging out with your friends, and that might be a top priority. So therefore, you're very disciplined. You'll always turn up on time. You'll never let your friends down. You'll always be there. Okay. So it's, where are you most disciplined? Where do you have the most order in your life? So it's not chaotic. So I'm very messy in terms of my bedroom, because I don't value making my bed, right? But my working environment around my work and seeing my clients is very ordered. Okay. I'm very ordered with my gym in terms of going to the gym on time, making a class on time. I always get to my exercise early. Okay. And where are you most reliable? So again, the reliable, where can people count on you? My children can always count on me being there to pick them up. If I say I'll be there, I'll always be there. Okay. I'm 100% reliable. I'm always reliable to my wife. Okay. If I say I'm going to do something, I'll do it. Absolutely, 100%. I'm always reliable with my exercise, around my eating. I'm reliable in terms of investing my money. I'll do that. It's a high priority for me. I'm reliable in terms of investing in my education. So where are you most reliable? So I think we've covered close to 10. I'm just thinking of some of the other areas off the top of my head there. We've done the money, order, reliability, discipline. We've done time, space. We've done internal dialogue, external dialogue. We've done energy. Yeah, so I think we've covered at least 10, if I'm counting correctly. So essentially, you've written 3 under each of those headings. So if I've done 10, you tell me if I haven't. But even if I've only done 9, essentially, what keeps popping up? What's common down that list of 9? So what keeps popping up for me is my health. What keeps popping up for me? Your health is important to me. So that keeps popping up. And my family, they're my top 3 values. Okay. So I hope you got an idea of how to determine. Oh, that's the other one I've missed, is where you constantly setting goals and you see them coming to fruition. Okay. So I know Amy's setting goals. Oh, we lost Leslie. Thanks for rejoining, Leslie. I know Amy is constantly setting goals on her business, and her business is thriving. She's booked 3 months ahead. I hope you don't mind me sharing this, Amy. I'm sure you don't. So she's very ordered in that sense. It's a high value of hers. And essentially, she sets goals and she hits them. Another high value for Amy is saving money, and she's setting goals around that, and it's coming to fruition. So it's where you set goals and they're coming to fruition. You're starting to see evidence. If you're not seeing evidence, they're not important to you. Okay. They're someone else's goals. Okay. So remember, where do you set your goals? I always set my goals around my health, my client's health, and then my family. Okay. And then my investing, probably the top 4. Okay. If you've got any questions, please ask. I'll continue on because we've got lots to cover. So be specific. I spoke about this in terms of your goal settings, so that your reticular activating system, your RAS, reticular activating system, is switched on and it's looking for opportunity. It knows what you're looking for and it's finding it for you. You can probably all recall when you've been looking for a car on the market, right? All of a sudden, you've got razor sharp focus in terms of the make of the car, who makes it, the model of the car, even the color you want. even the accessories that you want. You get very specific in terms of that goal. And I think I said color. And then you'll start to see that everywhere in the streets, and you think, oh, everyone's got this car. It's because you switched on your reticular activating system. It's fired up and it knows what you're looking for, and you will filter the world based on that lens. Okay. So create a very specific goal. Don't just say, I want a partner. Okay. So just saying, like, I'd love to be in a relationship. That's not being specific enough. Who do you want to be with? What common interest do you want to have with this partner? What sort of ambitions do you have around a relationship? Do you want to create a family, or you don't want to create a family? Be very specific about the partner you want. What color hair have they got? What shaped body do they have? Be razor specific. And I can guarantee it. I did this and I found my wife by doing this exercise. Okay. I actually was very specific in terms of what I wanted in a partner. I listed everything there, and the sort of values that they had. So I wanted a partner that valued family, and I've got a partner that values family. I wanted a partner that values her health, and she values her health. Okay. And so I was very laser specific, and my reticular activating system found me the right partner. So be laser focused. Don't be wishy-washy vague. If you want to, like, so even with like just losing, like, I want to lose weight, that's rubbish. Okay. What exactly do you want to achieve? How much is it? Do you want to actually gain muscle, lose fat, or do you just want to just drop overall weight? So therefore you want to lose a bit of muscle, you want to lose a bit of fat, you want to lose some body fluid. Be very specific. I want to have this many kilos of muscle, lean muscle. I want to have this much kilos of, or this percentage of body fat. Be very specific. And I can guarantee having that, exactly, where do you want to lose the weight? Okay. Is it around your waist? Is it around your breasts? Is it around your legs? Where do you want to lose your waist? Waist. Where do you want to lose your weight? Be very specific, okay? And then you'll start to find the right people that can help you, because you know what you're looking for. So then when you're scrolling through Instagram or Facebook, you'll actually see everything that you're looking for. You'll tune into it. You'll think, oh, that's my future partner. Wow, they popped up on my feed. You'll see, wow, this person knows exactly what I want in terms of my body composition. They know, and they help clients how to achieve that. Therefore, I'm going to reach out to them. Okay. So if you're very specific in your goals, you'll start to see it. You'll start to see it come to fruition. You'll start to see, you'll meet the right people that will help you achieve your goals. So be very specific, detailed, write out endless detail about it. As I mentioned, the car, in terms of going down to the nth degree as to what accessories you want on that car, what color, all that sort of stuff. And then, for your partner, be very detailed. For health, what goals do you want? Specifically, be very specific. Don't be vague. Your business, what goals do you want to achieve in your business? Be laser, like how many clients? What is the avatar of the client that you want to attract? Describe the avatar of your ideal client. Write it out. Be very descriptive. I want 10 more of these perfect ideal clients in my business. Okay. So in Amy's case, so she would have an ideal client who she loves working with. And therefore next year, she probably wants another 10 more of them or 100 more of them, depending on, how much you want to grow your business next year. But be very specific. Okay. I can't hone in on that enough. Your goals need to be laser focused. Okay. Set realistic goals. And as I said before, if you've got any questions, please drop them in the chat. I don't want you to be holding on to your questions unless you don't want me reading them out. But certainly just say, don't mention my name, and I won't mention your name, but I'll ask the question. I'll read the question and answer it. So set realistic goals. Okay. yes, it's great to dream. It's great to have a big picture. Start with the big picture and work backwards. Okay. So picture yourself at the end of next year. So you can do this exercise. Picture yourself at the end of next year. What do you want to reflect back on to say you have accomplished? What is it? What is it that you specifically want at the end of next year? Is it 10 more clients? Is it 100 more clients? Is it $100,000? Okay. What is it? Is it an empowering relationship? Is it better health? What specifically better health do you want? And then essentially you work back. Okay. So you start with the end in mind. Okay. So start with the end in mind and work backwards. And then you think, well, if I want 10 more clients and I need some sort of, there's going to be a holiday period. So there's pretty much a month or something where I won't be working. I'll be taking a break. So that's 11 months. So essentially you've got 11 months to find 10 clients. Okay. And that client may be worth maybe $5,000 to you or 10 grand to you. And so therefore it's an additional 50,000 or 100,000 in revenue. Is it realistic that you can get one of those clients each month? And so what do you need to do on a daily basis in order to attract that client for that month? Do you need to start a marketing campaign in January or February and start marketing for this client? And well, first of all, develop a marketing plan and work out where does this ideal client, where do they hang out? So you've set up the avatar. Where do they hang out? Where are the places? Are they on Facebook? Are they on TikTok? Are they on LinkedIn? Okay, you've worked out they're professionals. They're on LinkedIn. Okay, so yeah, focus your marketing efforts towards LinkedIn. You may want to start some paid advertising on LinkedIn if that's where your clients are hanging out. Again, where does your ideal partner hang out? Okay, you want to find this ideal client. What groups do you need to join? What societies do you need to join? If they've got common interests and you've got an interest in dancing, okay, you want to do Zumba, you love Zumba dancing. You want to meet a partner that loves Zumba dancing. Okay, you better go and do some Zumba dancing classes. Okay, where are they? When are you going to do them? Is that person your ideal partner? Is they a night person or morning person? Will they be at the morning class or night class? You can see me getting very specific. And in terms of that realistic goal, it's taking that 12-month goal and working back. Okay, if I need to get that client each month, what do I need to do in terms of how many people do I need to talk to in order to? So look at your conversion ratios. Okay, you might need to set up 10 discovery sessions in order to convert one client. Okay, so therefore each month you've got to have 10 discovery sessions. How many people have to view your ad on LinkedIn in order to get 10 discovery sessions booked? You might need to extend it to 10,000 people. And 10,000 may give you 10 discovery sessions, and from your conversion rate that you'll convert 10% of the discovery sessions. So therefore, yes, that one client per month is achievable. It's a realistic goal. So that's how I want you to set your realistic goals, is actually start with the end in mind and work backwards. There's no point of saying, I want to have $1 million at the end of the year, and you've got no possible way or no evidence to show that you're even on track to even, achieving that annual income, right? You've got to be realistic. Again, if you be realistic, you'll achieve that 10 clients, which brings in that 100,000 revenue. And then you're thinking, well, I've got the formula working. What happens if I improve my discovery session and increase the conversion rate to 20%? Okay. So therefore, I can get 2 clients a month. So the following year, it's realistic that I could set myself 20 clients for the year, which is 2 clients a month. Okay. So again, where do you want your business to be in 5 and 10 years, and work back? How many, if I want to have $1 million of income in 10 years, and then obviously you need to build up in terms of it's going to take some sort of build up in terms of getting to there. Work your way back. So like you can then go look at okay, if it's $1 million in 10 years, then probably, you know, realistically I could probably do $500,000 in 5 years. And then can you then do in 5 years, could you do like the first year 100,000? Is that possible in terms of extra revenue? So, and then you got to think, well, how many clients do I need to get in order to get $100,000, or how much, what job grade do I need to be in order to get $100,000 pay increase? How many job grades above that is it for me? And what sort of training do I need to do in order to get that higher job grade? Can I do that training, and can I demonstrate that I am capable of doing that higher job grade within a year, within 6 months? Like, again, you got to be asking yourself these questions. And the more you spend your time planning it out, the higher the likelihood you'll actually implement it, because you can actually see what you need to do on a daily basis in order to achieve that goal. You need to call maybe, you know, 5 clients or have 5 discovery sessions a day in order to convert 1 client. You may realize that in order to get your 100,000 revenue, you need to see 5 new clients a day, or could be 5 new clients a week. What do you need to do on a daily basis in order to get that 5 new clients a week? Okay, again, it's sort of really mapping it out and detailing it out, and keep asking as to breaking it down into a daily action. What do you need to wake up? How many people do you need to call? How many Zumba classes do you need to attend? Okay, to find this person. Yeah, so again, be very realistic about your goals. The way you can be realistic about it is to actually work it back to, you know, can I make 10 phone calls a day? Can I actually do 5? Can I see 5 clients a day? Is that physically possible? Okay. So really just map it out as to the daily action that you need to take on a daily basis in order to achieve that 12 months, that 5-year, that 10-year goal. Okay, next point, support and accountability. And again, if you've got laser focus, not razor, or it could be razor, very sharp focus, but very pinpointed focus as to knowing what you want, then what expert or what thought leader or what influencer has achieved what you want to achieve? Is there someone that knows how to grow a business from $100,000 business to a $500,000 business? Do they have evidence of helping their clients achieve that 100,000 to 500,000? Are they someone I'd like to work with? And start to look who else can support you. It could be you might ask for family, friends, and members, in terms of, you may say, look, I need to invest in my business in order to take it to where I want to. Are you willing to loan me the money and I'll pay it back with interest, or something like that? You may look for your family for, if the bank won't lend you money, or you don't have a good enough credit rating, you might want to be asking your friends, or you might do a GoFundMe campaign. Again, you know, who's holding you accountable? Who's checking in with you on a regular basis? That, are you on track to achieve your goals? Are you someone that can be accountable to yourself, or do you need someone else to hold you to account? Again, if you've really defined your values and you're living out your values and your goals are aligned to your values, you won't need the accountability, because it will be inspired from within. No one needs to tell Amy to go and hang out with Gilby. It's inspired within. She just loves it. It's a desire. It's a want. Okay. If you ever say to yourself, I've got to do this, I ought to do this, I'm supposed to do this, I need to do this, they're all imperatives that someone else is imposing their values on you. Okay. So then if you think I'm supposed to be, so if you say to yourself, I should be doing this, I ought to be doing this, I've got to do this, then pull yourself up and say, okay, according to who do I got to do this, or I'm supposed to do this. It's someone else's value that you're doing. So question it. If it's truly a value to you, it's inspired within, it doesn't require any external motivation. And essentially, you'll be saying, I love doing this. Like, no one has to ask me to do, like, I put this webinar on, right? I wanted, like, it's not a want, it's a love, actually. I love doing this, right? And I desire to do more next year and do more frequently and on different topics. And so it's got to be, if it's inspired within, you can hold yourself to account. So I set myself a goal. I wanted to do a webinar a month. I wanted to issue a podcast, publish a podcast per week. I've achieved that and more. I've actually exceeded both of those goals. So again, that's what I set myself, a podcast a week. And I did it, and I did even more. I did extras, bonus episodes, okay? I did extra webinars, bonus webinars. Again, I have my plan, and I check myself. Have I done my podcast for the week? Okay. Or have I exceeded my expectations and actually done 2 podcasts for the week? Well done, Anthony. Well done. Okay. So again, if it's truly aligned to your values, you will be accountable to yourself, because it's from within. You love to do it. You desire to do it. You want to do it. It's not, I supposed to, I got to, I ought to, I should, I need to. They're imperatives, and that's other people's values that have been projected onto you. So question, where is it coming from? Okay, this is a intermission or an infomercial. Okay, so before I get into the dissolving the emotional baggage, so I'm going to share some hot tips around that. I want to share with you what I'm running next year. I'm extremely inspired to be putting this program on. I've worked extremely hard to have this up and running and ready to go for early next year. So venues are booked, timings booked in, the program's set out, the workbook's just in its finishing stages. I'm not 100% complete with the workbook. I want to add some more to it. But essentially, I'm creating a program next year, which is a 12-month program, which walks you through what I'm sharing tonight. Okay, so there's 2 running in parallel. So there's a Zoom. You can do it 100% Zoom, or you can do face-to-face, depending on where you live. You do the workshops face-to-face, and then there's there's quarterly workshops face-to-face, half-day workshops, where we actually go through the education, we go through the activities together, we support one another, and we actually start we're actually breaking down goals to the quarter, and then we have fortnightly check-ins with one another to see how people are going. What support, extra support do they need? Where are they challenged? How can I further help them navigate around an obstacle they've encountered? So we're holding one another accountable. We're supporting one another, and we're helping everyone achieve success next year. And in this process, I'm teaching the Demartini Method. So you'll know the complete Demartini Method. I'm sharing a bit tonight of how the Demartini Method works, but it's essentially empowering and elevating your thinking to a higher level. So it's essentially taking your thinking away from that survival thinking to that thrival thinking. And it gives you tools through questioning in how to elevate your thinking and to see the vision, and how to strategic plan, how to execute that plan, how to see events for what they are, as they are, instead of how they should be, how to have gratitude and love for the people in your life, how to love yourself better, how to love others better in terms of loving the whole person. And essentially the method will empower you to love the whole you, and be very grateful for the whole you. You'll have much stronger appreciation for the people in your life, because you'll love who they are, and You won't be judging them, and essentially you'll be grateful for them in your life. Even the people that you're resenting at the moment, you'll be grateful for by the end of this course, okay? So it's essentially helping dissolve all the emotional baggage. It's helping propel you forward in terms of achieving what you want to achieve. And if this is something you're interested in, then the early bird special is available. And this is the map in terms of the mud map at the outline. So these are the quarterly workshops when the quarterly workshops are being run. There's pre-work. You did a bit of the pre-work tonight, defining your values. And then essentially what we then do is then start learning the Demartini Method. I empower you in these different areas of health and well-being so that you're physically capable, and in terms of your physical health is more and well and truly going to support you to achieve whatever goals you set. So there's the physical health component, there's the mental health component, and we're going to have these regularly fortnightly Zoom Q&As to make sure that everyone stays on track throughout the quarter. Okay, if you're interested, then there's no obligation, but to express interest in the early bird offer, then I would like you to QR or take a QR code, or what do? You take a photo of this QR code, and essentially I'll just reach out to you, and then we'll have a chat to see if it's the right course for you. Again, I only want the right people doing the course, because at the end of the day, I want everyone to achieve success. I'm not doing this course for people not to achieve success. I get I thrive on seeing other people succeed. Okay. So that's what drives me, is your success. So essentially I want to make sure the right people are doing the course. So we're going to have a chat before you jump on the course, and so scan the QR code. If you need me to go back to it, I can at the end of the presentation. Okay, I'm going to move on to this exciting last part of the webinar. So, as I mentioned earlier, please ask any questions if they come to mind as you go. Okay, so in terms of making a stepping stone to resolving any emotional baggage that may be holding you back, okay? So I want you to think about, and this is an exercise, so get your pen and paper out. I want you to go through this exercise because it will empower you. It is worth doing. So please treat it as an activity and follow me. So I want you to think about, who is it that's occupying your mind? It's either someone that you're despising, you dislike, or you resent, or it's someone you admire, you infatuate over. So it could be that that partner that you are just drooling over. Probably not the right words, but you are actually so infatuated over them, and they're occupying a lot of head time. And in terms of, you can't concentrate at work, you can't concentrate when you're at home, because you're forever thinking about this person and wish they were in your life. Okay, so it could be that, or it could be someone. So that's someone that you really want in your life. The other end is someone you don't want in your life. Who is it that you want to leave your life, to go away? You don't like them being in your life. So who is it? I want you to write that person down. Okay, so that's the first part of the exercise. Now, the next part of the exercise is, what is it that you so if it's someone you're admiring and you're infatuated over, someone you're desiring and need and want, and essentially you want to eat them. So what is it about them? Is it a physical trait? Is it some physical features, their face or their body? What is it specifically? What specific trait, physical trait, that you're admiring? Or is it a particular action, like a behavior that they've made towards you, an action, a physical action towards you? They may always welcome you with a big cuddle. and you love that warm cuddle. That might be something that you are infatuated with. Or it could be an inaction that they sort of give you that sort of look, but then give you the cold shoulder, and you sort of love that sort of them playing the game. I don't know. Or, whatever. But so the other one is the person you dislike. So what is it that you are disliking about that person in terms of their physical traits? What is it an action? They may have said something to you, so they verbally criticized you or something, and you didn't like that. That was the action that they did. Or they may have not invited you to a party, so they didn't send you an invitation to a party, and you've got some resentment towards that. Or an inaction, for example, they didn't, so this person didn't do what you asked them to do, and so you feel let down. What was it specifically that they didn't do that you asked them to do, and essentially was an inaction that you are disliking or resenting? Okay, so now the third part of this exercise is actually a self-reflection exercise. So essentially what we admire in others are things that we have in ourselves that we're too humble to admit, okay? So whatever you're admiring about someone is within you, but you're too humble to admit it, to own it. It may be in a different form, okay? So it might not be specifically in the form that they have it. So if you admire someone's intelligence in, say, I know Fazay is doing the MBA, so you might admire someone's business intelligence, right? And you think, oh, I wish I could have the same intellect around their business know-how or the way they work with people. So you're admiring some intellectual aspect about them. So where is it that where do you have that form in you? So I want you to think about and close your eyes and think about, where is that form in you? So essentially, you may have that intelligence. For me, my intelligence is in health and wellness. I don't necessarily have it in business, or I don't necessarily have it in finance, but I've certainly got intelligence in health and wellness. And so essentially start to, there's a comment come through. Well, everyone can read Amy's comments. So essentially so if it's something you're infatuated over, it's something that you have within you, but you're too humble to admit it, right? And so I want you to own it. So where is it you have it in you? What is it that you're admiring or infatuated over? And where is it in you? It's within you, but it's most likely a different form, because you're completely unique and special. As I said, everyone is different for this reason, okay? So now, in terms of if it's someone you resent, you dislike, okay, you're despising, okay, so that's something about you that you're projecting onto them. So there's something that you're disowning in yourself. You're too proud to admit that you have it within you. So if you resent, for example, verbal criticism, and you're thinking, I never verbally criticize anyone, and how dare you verbally criticize me? Okay, so that's essentially you disowning part of you. We all do it. I can guarantee you, everyone here has verbally criticized someone in your life. And so this is a reflection. Okay, I want you to reflect. When have you verbally criticized someone in your life? Where were you? When was it? Who did you do it to? Was there anyone observing you do it? Okay, be very specific. Go to a time when you actually did it and you think, oh, yes, I did it then. Okay, do you do it as much as the other person now? Oh, no, they do it so much more than me. I only just did it that one off. Okay, now I want you to think again. Look deeper. Find another time where you verbally criticize someone. Where were you? When was it? Who did you do it to? Did anyone observe it? Okay, ask yourself that, and you'll find another one. Now, the only way you will not find it is if you're too proud, and you hold your esteem and regard so high. It's certainly that super ego kicking in. I don't do that. That's not me. I'm one-sided. I'm just a nice person. I'm always a nice person. I'm never mean. I never criticize people. I always so caring. Again, you're disowning part of you, and hence you cannot love. You cannot love yourself unless you accept who you are. And once you start loving these disowned parts in you, you will no longer be emotionally stimulated by other people, because you're not projecting it on them. Okay, it won't affect you anymore. Next time, if you own verbal criticism within you and go, yes, I do it just as much as that person I'm resenting, if you own it in you just as much. So I want you to keep finding occasions when you did it, to the point at which there's no emotional attachment to that person doing it to you. Once there's no emotion and you think, oh, I don't feel any emotion. I don't feel angry at them anymore. It doesn't make me angry. Even that, so put that person in your mind. If you can see that person in your mind, and there's no feeling of anger, there's just a sense of grace and thinking, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for what you did, because now I own a part of me that I was disowning, and now I can love another part of me. Okay. And so essentially, whenever your emotional response to anything, it could be extreme joyness, right? Again, with extreme joyness, you're only seeing the upside. So you're blinded to the downside. And so that elation is only going to result in disappointment down the track when you start to, the other side is revealed. You start to, like, again, if you're infatuated with someone and you only see that everything's good about them and that they're just the best in the world, when you start to date them, you'll start to see the other side. And then you'll start to dislike a part of them. And then that infatuation will become less, to a point you'll probably end up resenting them and breaking up with them. It's because you never connected with the whole person. You only love one side of them. No one is one-sided. We all have both sides. We all have a nice side, a mean side, a happy side, a sad side, a side that we indulge in pleasure, and a side where we experience pain. They're complementary opposites, are always together, and that's what makes the universe what it is. Okay, so essentially, if you're judging someone for a particular action or inaction or a trait, it's essentially a disowned part in you. It's something you haven't loved yourself for. And I want you to find it. And what form is it in you? So it could be a trait that you admire. So I mentioned intelligence. It could be that you admire that person's, it could be their physical body. You admire their abs. I really like how they've got nice or flat, a flat stomach. I really admire that flat stomach. Well, where on you do you have that? It's somewhere on you. It's just that you've turned a blind eye to it. Find it. That's what I ask, is find it. It's on you. It's probably something that they admire about you, okay, that you're disowning. You're not noticing it because you're so focused on what you don't have, and you're projecting that on everyone else, and you're not owning it within you. Once you own it within you, you can love you for who you are, and you'll be grateful for who you are, and you'll have a better love. You'll have unconditional love for others. So essentially, when we're judging them and we only like one side, in that moment, right, of that judgment and only that one side, essentially It's conditional love. You only love when they conditionally do this. You only love them for the conditions. You've placed conditions on your love. Love, as you know, is unconditional. The only way you can have unconditional love is if you love the whole person. You love both sides of them. You love when they're mean. You love when they're nice. And the only way you can love that is if you own it in yourself. Once you own it in yourself, it's no longer an issue when other people are doing it, because you know that you do it and it's completely human. And that's what makes everyone so unique and special. We're human beings. We're so different. Okay. And that's what makes us so special. That's what makes the world thrive, is when you are you and love you for who you are and allow the world to see the true you and not someone else. Okay. Not a persona. And so essentially this exercise, you can go through all the traits that you infatuate over in terms of other people that you're too humble to admit that's within you, or it could be the traits, actions, or inactions that you despise and resent that other person, other people do, that you're too proud to admit that's within you. Okay. And so they're disowned parts. It's only, you're only liking one side of yourself. Well, the way in which to love life is to love you. Okay. Once you have a love for yourself and the love for who you are, and you can see the uniqueness of you in this world by doing what's truly value to you, then you can live a life of inspiration, not a life of desperation. You'll live a true life of inspiration by just being you, no personas, loving the whole you. And therefore, you'll have better regulations of your emotions because you're not projecting what you're disowning onto others. And you won't get emotional. You won't get that angry and frustration when they do that, because you think, well, I do it just as much as them. Okay. I own it. I own that. I'm not disowning it. I own it. I do it just as much as them. So therefore, when they do it, you don't get emotionally upset or distraught or angry about it or frustrated or irritable. You just think, well, that's them. That's the whole them. And you love them for who they are. And so this will deepen relationships. This will deepen the relationship with yourself. And this is the stepping stone to having a successful next year. Have I got another slide? Okay. I've got a summary slide, but I'm going to leave you with another thing. I want to give you another tip. Again, it's part of the Demartini Method. This method is quite large, hence why I'm running a 12-month program. There's lots of areas of the ways to change perceptions. But another way to change perceptions, and in order to see the world for as it is, it's the reality check, so to speak. It's not projecting a world that you fantasize the way the world should be, and you can't be grateful for anything because it's not behaving the way you fantasize it to be. The reality check is when you look at your perceptions, if you're starting to get any emotion or any judgment, then you're in the animal part of the brain. You're in that lower level thinking, okay? In the MBA, they talk about it as order 1 thinking. So order 1 thinking is survival thinking. Order 2 thinking is thrival thinking. The technique I'm teaching you is how to elevate your thinking, so you're in that thrival thinking. You're in that strategic planning. You can see the vision. You can create the strategic plan. You can execute that strategic plan, and you're inspired within to do it. That is when you've got higher level. You can see the world objectively as opposed to subjectively. You can see both sides. You can see the pros. You can see the cons. You can see the advantages, disadvantages. You're not seeing one-sided when you're in that thrival order 2 thinking. So in order to help you get there, I want to share one last tip. Hang in there. I'm just about finished. Okay. So you probably see a lot of negative press, right? There's negative press going around at the moment, okay? Always about something, okay? In Australia, we've recently had floods, right? And the media is all negative about the floods. It's all doom and gloom. And the reason why they want to drive that negativity is because when you're extremely emotional, you store that memory to protect you so that next time you're ready for it. Okay. So that's a survival mechanism that is then stored in the hippocampus. And so next time, if there's something that may trigger it, you'll be emotional about it again. And the reason why they do that, because they want you to connect with their brand. They want you to remember who broke the story. Okay. And it's essentially a way to manipulate you so that you keep watching or buying their products. Okay. So it's essentially the way in which advertising works. They drive emotions, the emotions are stored, and you then have got that stored memory in the subconscious. Okay. And then they bring it out into your conscious memory by keep advertising, and it keeps coming up. Okay. Okay. So if the media is pumping out something negative, we'll take floods. Okay. If you're feeling a bit upset and a bit distraught from it, okay, so there's an emotional association with that event because the media's labeled it as a traumatic event or a dramatic event or some label they put on it, a natural disaster, a disaster. It's a disaster, okay? Now, I want you to start thinking about you're conscious of the negatives of that event. It's thrown by the media. It's talked about by everyone. You're unconscious. You have an unconsciousness to the positives. So the quality of our life is determined by the quality of the questions we ask ourselves. So if we're only seeing one side, I want you to ask yourself, what is positive about floods? Okay. So start thinking about it. Don't say, oh, they're a disaster. They're a complete waste of time. What happens as a result of floods? Okay. So our dams fill up. We need water to survive. When we were in a drought, we were complaining that there was no water, there was no dam, the dams were empty. It was life-threatening and all that. Well, now we've got dams that are overfilling. Okay. So that's got to be a positive. We now got lots of water, right? We've got a bit too much. Okay, what else is a positive about the floods? Okay, these homes need to be rebuilt. Okay, so there's beneficiaries. So the building industry is going to do well. There's going to be an increase in jobs, essentially, to rebuild the cities. Okay, so I'm not being disrespectful for the lives that have been lost. Okay, so yes, there's lives that are lost. But I'm not just looking at that aspect. There's a whole to it, right? And there's a hidden order that we're blindsided to, where we just see the disorder when we see one side. And disorder means there's missing information. So if you're feeling that it's all in disarray, that the world is, extremely bad or whatever, that is essentially missing information. And you need to ask your question, what is positive about this, and how does it serve me? How is it serving me? How is it serving them? How is it serving other people? Okay. Well, that other person may have not liked their house. Look, I mean, this is speculating, but what we do this in real life examples. So we do it based on your life. Okay. So essentially, so that person may not have wanted their house. And so now they're getting a new house if they had insurance. Okay. And they're probably going to be getting the house that they wanted. Okay. Through the insurance. Okay. What happens when there's a so-called disaster? The town rallies together. People are connected. There's friendships formed. There's people that never said hi to each other ever before, and they're saying hi. They're helping one another. It unites us. It doesn't divide us. These events bring us together. The wars actually brought us together. They made us more cohesive. They made us work together. The pandemic brought us together. It brought all the drug manufacturers together. They worked together to find a solution. It brings us together. It connects us. Okay. There is plenty of upside if you're open to looking for it and you're willing to ask the question. Okay. And if you balance the perspective, then you'll only see gratitude for events that happen to you. They won't be in the way, they'll be on the way. They'll be on the way to a higher you, to a better you, to a new improved you. It's through the challenges in life that we grow and thrive, okay? It's the challenges that make us grow and thrive. So don't expect a world where there's no challenge or a world without pain. That is futile. That is seeing a one-sided world. There is two sides, okay? And we need to love the whole. The only way we can be grateful is if we see the whole for what it is and can love it and respect it for what it is, as opposed to the way we would like it to be, the way we'd like, we have this fantasy of the world in terms of how it should be. Okay, that's enough of point number 2, but the quality of the questions will determine the quality of your life. Ask better questions. Get a balanced perspective. If you're ever perceiving any judgment, if you're ever feeling any emotion, it's because you have an imbalanced perspective. You are in the animal part of the brain. You're in that prey or predator mode, essentially seeking prey or running away from predator. That's the mode you're in. It's one-sided. I either need to get away from that predator or I need to get that prey. That's one-sided thinking. In order to thrive, you need to see the whole. You need to see the balance, the order, and you need to elevate your thinking. And you elevate your thinking by asking better questions. Okay, so you've probably read the summary slide. It is pretty much the reflection of what we set out to achieve. I really hope you enjoyed the webinar. I'm actually going to turn off the recording so you can ask me questions if you've got any questions. And thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you joining tonight. So thank you. And I hope you got a lot out of tonight's webinar.